Hi, this is John Hand, and the Pulsing Cinema movie of the day is Mr. Mike's Mondo video. A dangerous film, but we're going to cautiously discuss it and critique it. Created by Michael O'Donoghue in 1979, and this one's kind of a cheat because it started out actually as a television special, but was released theatrically by New Line Cinema after NBC just totally rejected it and and was like, we're gonna play this on television, you know. So the film is like a parody of the Mondo film. The Mondo genre is a kind of a loose genre of pseudo documentaries popularized by Italian filmmakers. I guess it gets its name from the first big films, Mondo Cane, and they're fake documentaries. Basically, they claim to show the weird and wild lifestyles of people from around the world, around the globe, when it's really just an opportunity to show a lot of sex and violence and weirdness from different cultures, different people all around the world. You just get a bunch of cameras, or you pretend to get a bunch of you pretend to go around the world and you just shoot some footage in a back lawn, get some people dressed up like natives, half naked, and have them do stuff. You know, there's a touch of Mondo, of course, in Cannibal Holocaust, and the composer for Cannibal Holocaust, Rizzo Ortolani, did all, Mondo Cane and a lot of those soundtracks. And so when you think about the Mondo film, it's the perfect format to do like a television special. Which is basically Mr. Mike's Mondo video is just a bunch of kind of disconnected vignettes, sequences of just weird stuff. You know, there's like there's a swimming school for cats. There's Dan Aykroyd shows off his web feet. There's on Man in the Street interviews. There's footage from Thomas Edison when he executed an elephant with AC power. There's animated stuff. There's just all kinds of weirdness. The creator of this was Michael O'Donoghue, otherwise known as the Mr. Mike, who is the host of the show as well as the creator and the writer and the director. O'Donoghue was the first lead writer on Saturday Night Live. He had come from National Lampoons, and he was a well-known figure. He was a comedy powerhouse. He had a really dark, fucked up, strange, eccentric sense of humor, and that kind of anarchic, strange sense of humor heavily influenced Saturday Night Live, the early years of Saturday Night Live, and the weirdness, the eccentricity of it. Apparently, a lot of that was Michael O'Donoghue. And Lorne Michaels must have really loved Michael O'Donoghue because now Mr. Mike's Mondo video, when you read online about it on the Wikipedia and everything, it was. Some say it was meant to be a television special, but on the commentary track on the new Mondo video DVD, the co-producer and Michael O'Donoghue's friend, Mitch Glazer, he talks about on that commentary track, basically the idea was to do Saturday Night live for 3 Saturdays, and then the 4th Saturday would be a Mr. Mike's Mondo video. And I mean, it totally makes sense, I mean, it's totally, I mean, it's like, this film almost feels like Night Flight, like, 4 or 5 years before Night Flight premiered, this is 1979. Night Flight really didn't start until like 1984, 85, 86, in that time period, because the film is just, the Mondo video is just like this eclectic collection of like skits and weird animation, and then musical performances, Sid Vicious, My Way, and the Root Boy Slim, and then the brilliant Klaus Nomi, his little Samson and Delilah act. He does, and so it's just this strange mix, this mishmash of stuff, and it's not something that like you'd want to sit down and maybe watch it all the way through. It's something that maybe you could have just like Night Flight, to me personally. I mean, but it's just something that you're glad that it exists, that you can have on in the background, and that you can kind of just jam on watching it. It's one of those things. So I mean, the weirdness and the eccentricity and the craziness of it, I mean, there's all these strange jokes about William Holden and Albanians. Apparently, Michael O'Donoghue was really, really good friends with John Belushi, and John Belushi's Albanian. And there's all these obscure jokes in this film that you probably would never be able to get them all unless you were Michael O'Donoghue, or you could like talk to Michael O'Donoghue. Like there's like this the groceries in front of William Holden's door. It's like what the fuck? I guess that's a reference to when William Holden, had that thing, and that went to his bad end, and maybe people are leaving stuff in front of his door, but the horror is inside, I guess. I don't know. It's just a weird, just very much like an early, like, imagine if Lorne Michaels' Broadway Video produced a version of Night Flight. It would be like this film, like Mr. Mike's Mondo Video. Like, I keep calling it a film, but I guess you'd call it a video or whatever. So the film video was not shown on television until later in the early 80s, but New Line Cinema released it theatrically, and I don't think it did very well theatrically because the poster art was really pimping out the fact that they had all of these SNL actors involved. They had Dan Aykroyd, they had Lorraine Newman, Gilda Radner. Everybody has a little bit part in this film. Bill Murray has a little bit part in it. Everybody shows up. I think Dan Aykroyd has one of the best parts. He does the Church of Jack Lord, where he does like a Jack Lord Hawaii 5-0, but like imagine if a church, there was a church dedicated to worshiping Jack Lord in Hawaii 5-0, the Church of the Jack Lord. I mean, like, again, this is like fucked up, really weird, obscure, word plays and humor that like, who the fuck would think this up, and who would have the balls to actually write a skit about this stuff. But I guess Michael O'Donoghue did and would and could do such a thing. Man, there are parts of it that are funny as hell. There are parts of it that are just like, where the hell did this come from? And the scenes at the beginning with the cats swimming in the water in slow motion, just basically the cat swimming school is you just get a bunch of cats and jump and throw them in a pool and just watch as they swim for their life. It's just like, what kind of fucked up, I mean, what it's absurd, it's great, it's weird, it's wacky. I think the beginning of the film, after you get to Laser Bra 2000, which is a fake in like industrial, like black and white 50s industrial film with these laser brassiers, after you get past that, it just gets really obscure and strange. I guess in the 70s you had a lot of films like this, like Boogie Vision, or Tunnel Vision, The Groove Tube, which I think had Chevy Chase in it, right? The Groove Tube, stuff like that, where you'd have these kind of like Zucker Brothers-esque like collections of, like Laugh-In, Gone Off the Rails, that kind of weird, fucked up 70s comedy. But this is a little bit, this is obscure, this is weird, and I can tell that, when this did theatrically, it probably didn't do well because it had all those Saturday Night Live actors promoted, but then, the audience goes in there and they're just in there for bit parts, and otherwise the film is just this weird and bumpy ride, almost like watching a short version of Night Flight in the late 70s, early 80s in theaters. And I think that there's a lot of padding in the film to bring it out to a theatrical length, because I think initially it was going to be a much shorter broadcast length version, but they've padded it out and done a lot. The film was released on VHS by Pacific Arts, Mike Nesmith's label. The first VHS release, they took out the audio to Sid Vicious My Way, which is a shame. Apparently Paul Anka complained, and that was cut. Then it was released in 2009 by Shout Factory on DVD. That was the release I watched. It has a great commentary track, has some good Michael O'Donoghue clips, has a Michael O'Donoghue eulogy given by Bill Murray, another clip from Saturday Night Live. And they cut something else out. They cut out the opening music from the Church of Jack Lord segment, I guess because they couldn't get the rights to the Hawaii Five-0 theme. I don't know. Shout Factory, it's like they've released the Great Rock and Roll Swindle. They released all this stuff, but again, couldn't get the music rights to that, or the Sid Vicious My Way thing. I don't know if the Sid Vicious My Way thing was real, or if it was just like, you don't know what's real and what's fake in the world of Mr. Mike's Mondo Video. I mean, it melts your brain. The world of Michael O'Donoghue melts your brain. Michael O'Donoghue went on to co-write that Bill Murray film Scrooged. He did a little bit of acting. But unfortunately, he died of an aneurysm in 1994, I believe, and it was just a shame, because such a talent, such a weird guy, I mean. But we still have Mr. Mike's Mondo Video, which is kind of a uneven, weird, strange, fucked up, like it's like the definition of WTF. The dictionary definition of WTF should have a picture of the poster art for Mr. Mike's Mondo Video, because, I mean, it's kind of a Mondo parody. It fits in with that. I love the opening theme music. The crazy world of Mondo Video. It's the crooning music, and then the end credits where it's the same song but like spoken in like gibberish Italian. Mondo, or something. They're just making up the fucking making up like fake gibberish Italian, singing the theme song. Oh my god, Mr. Mike's Mondo Video. I love it. I didn't see this on shelves for years and years and years when I was a kid. I mean, I'd heard about it, I'd read about it, but I always thought Mr. Mike's Mondo Video, okay, maybe it's like a trailer compilation, a clip compilation, like like Screen Scaries or Coming Soon or Terror in the Aisles or something like that, where it's like cutting together a bunch of trailers and stuff. Well, no, it's not. It's Mr. Mike's Mondo Video. It is again, a Saturday Night Live kind of infused extravaganza, and it kicks ass in a weird way.